like to call this meeting of the Lakota Board of Education to order. Jenny, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Casper? Here. Mr. Lovell?
Here.
Mrs. O'Connor?
Here.
Mr. Parnell? Here. Mrs. Schaefer?
Here. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yes. I would like to remove from the agenda under my section, it's actually C, so it would be 10C, approval of a consulting agreement with the Government Finance Officers Association. I would like to do a little bit more due diligence on that and have further discussions with the board before asking for your approval on that.
Okay. So do we need to amend?
Yeah.
So do I have a motion to approve the amended agenda? Have a second?
Second.
Jenny, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Parnell?
Yes.
Mrs. Casper?
Yes.
Mr. Lovell?
Yes.
And Mrs. Schaefer?
Yes. I'd like to have a moment of silence. One of our longstanding employees, Kay Conley, passed away. She was an intervention specialist at Liberty Junior. Thank you. We appreciate her many years of service to all of the students that she served. And with that, we'll turn it to Matt for superintendent's comments.
Thank you, Mrs. Schaefer. Just a couple comments as we start tonight. First is thanks for the great turnout tonight. This is awesome. Second, I would say just as a follow-up to our last meeting, as a school district, we are on day 8. We are 418 students higher this time than we were this time last year. So that's an increase. Every grade level has seen an increase except for the junior and senior classes. And we are about 210, 211 more kindergartners than we anticipated. So I think that's a good problem to have, but it's a problem, so we're looking at class sizes now, as we would for any grade level. So I do want to mention that. Another thing that I wanted to just mention to the board briefly is there's a firm called Belcan that's in this area that Mr. Wesley and Mr. Coney and a few other curriculum people met with on Friday. They are interested in perhaps working on a cybersecurity curriculum for some of our students, and very interested in that. Cincinnati Public has a class that they use and also a school in DC, but when you look at the job market, I think that's one of those extras that's coming up, not an extra, but a lot of vacancies in that arena when you talk about cybersecurity. Our kids could potentially go through a program, finish the program right out of high school and enter the workforce making a minimum of $50,000, and they have no waiting. I mean, it's if you get through the program, you're going to get hired. So something that we're exploring, but we're excited on the tech side and on the curriculum side, so I wanted to share that with all of you.
Great, thank you.
What is our enrollment sitting at right now?
Give me just a second. 16,584.
Thank you.
Sure.
Are there any other pockets that you're concerned about? Or
You know, a couple different buildings and classes like we always are, but we're in that period right now where the withdrawals have taken place, so that's more of a hard and fast number for us. Again, the kindergarten is going to be an issue that we're dealing with, and we're talking to the principals about what that looks like for class sizes now.
Is it something that we would hire more teachers for, or is it
Pot-
that?
Potentially for some of the, not all the buildings,
Right.
but for some of the buildings because of the numbers. I certainly don't think anybody up here would want 27 kindergartners in one room.
Yeah,
so
that's a concern.
we're looking at that.
Yeah.
So it's a good problem to have, but we're going to have to make some adjustments. And whether that's a teacher or more support staff, that's what we're looking at now.
Is our goal still 24?
That would be the ideal goal,
Okay.
right? Can't say that it would be that low, but that's the intent. Thanks.
Treasurer's comments?
The only comment I have tonight is that we have, so next month is the month when we have to approve our final appropriations for this fiscal year 2019. And we are only having one board meeting next month. So just, I would tell you at the next board meeting, but next board meeting will be the final board meeting in September. So final appropriations will be coming to you at that time. I do not anticipate there to be a huge adjustment from what the temporaries are. And I'll review any changes from the temporaries to the permanents when we get ready for that.
So as Jenny alluded to, our regularly scheduled September 10th meeting, because of various conflicts from various board meetings and different meetings everyone has to be at, we will not have a quorum. So we will be canceling our September 10th board meeting, and we'll just have our September 24th board meeting in September. So take off for those of you who are anxious to come to our September 10th board meeting, you'll have to take that off of your busy agenda.
Can I just mention too, since we're talking about it, that we'd still have the executive session on September 4th.
Correct.
Yeah,
So just as a reminder for the board,
yeah. Special board meeting. for
special
the-
board meeting.
Yes. We have now our student spotlight. And with that, we'll ask Betsy to come to the mic.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Mr. Miller and Mrs. Logan. I'm very excited to have the privilege to introduce the Student Spotlight Trio this evening. You may recognize Will Tenover, Ryan Hardinger, and Ilyas Malik from our staff convocation a couple of weeks ago. These young men presented to our 1,700 staff members about the opportunities that they found through their robotics class at Liberty Junior. This summer, Will, Ryan, and Ilyas traveled to Atlanta, Georgia to represent Liberty at the Technology Student Association Teams National Competition. The trio faced fierce competition, but I'm pleased to say they came out victorious and brought home a national championship title in the Systems Control Technology Project category. Please welcome Ilyas, Ryan, and Will.
So my name is Ilyas Malik.
And I'm Ryan Hardinger.
And I'm Will Tanover.
And our history in Lakota is that we've all been in Lakota since we were in kindergarten.
Can we bring the mic up for him, please?
You just want to pull the mic closer, just get closer to the mic.
Okay. Thank you. We've all been in Lakota since we were in kindergarten, and we participated in many school activities, like after-school activities, such as football, jazz band, and cross country. And for the robotics class that we took, this was an in-school activity, but it introduced us to innovative experiences in the future that could highly benefit us by, since there's new technologies that are being created every day, and they need coders for these technologies, which we're in short supply in the US, so it's a great job for us to have.
So at State, we built a sorting machine that had to determine 2 different colored blocks. And this was meant to be in space, so one object was contaminated, one wasn't. So it had to be able to separate the 2 depending on the color, and we used a claw to grab the block once it got stopped, and the light sensor detected the color, and it would take it either to the right or the left, and then drop it, have an alarm to tell the people when it's dropped, and then go back and be able to do it continuously. And then at nationals, we built something similar, but it had to do with something with like pizzas and cooking them automatically. A lot easier, but yeah. So at our national competition, we got first place, like Mrs. Betsy said. And so there was about 60 schools overall, all over the United States and other countries, about 7,000 people. And when we went into an event, we had to set up everything before, and we only allowed one person in there, so we had to like switch out, make sure everything was ready, so we weren't like behind on time. And then once we finished, we were just trying to fix all the little errors, make sure everything's good, and then we presented it to the judges, and then we told them about what we made, and then later they decided again on if we should win.
CSA taught us a lot of practical information that we're going to need to know in our future. If we do go into like the engineering and robotics field, they taught us like kind of real world code. We programmed all of our robots. We made them do exactly what we wanted it to. It's like really important information that we're going to need to know in the future. At the national competition, we got to see a lot of other people around our age who were kind of doing the same stuff as us. It was a neat experience. Everything was paid for, so we got to enjoy ourselves a lot during this vacation, pretty much for us. So there you see that's a picture of some of our code. That was from, I believe, our sorting machine project that we did. So you can kind of see exactly what we did, like all the terms that we had to use. Like the values, all the inputs. And then we also learned a lot of like building things. So like just for example, the cam and follower, crank and slider, we had to know exactly what that was and know how to build it in order to do everything that the judges wanted us to do. That's pretty much all we have planned.
So is there I'm just jumping in the questions. Is there like a project for this year or that was last year? Is there anything on the horizon?
They might be doing it again at the junior school. I think they do it during high school too, because there's high school teams also. But I'm not like sure like where they offer it, like if it's during like a certain class or in a club. But I'm pretty sure the high school also does the same thing. And there's not just coding like events. There's also like writing stories, solving a problem, making like a design to just an innovative design that you might use in the future. Just like new things. It didn't have to be robotics. There's a lot of different options.
Great. Anybody else?
It's neat.
Do you all have an interest in pursuing that field?
I do.
So you all do? Mm-hmm. That's great experience.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you from Independence when you were in first grade. How are you so old? How are you so in high school already? That's crazy.
Any other questions? Certainly a growing field and one that you won't have trouble expanding into if that's an area you'd like to go into. If you would join us up front, we'd love to take a picture.
Okay, we are moving now into the portion of our agenda for our staff spotlight, and it's going a little bit better than I thought it was going to. Not that it was going to be bad, but I'm excited about this group that's coming up behind me because I think they're going to help now. So I'll give a little bit of background unless you want to, Mom. You don't know? Dad, you want to talk? You want me to talk? All right, I'll go. So this is the Luck family and Logan's parents and family. So I'd like at this time Brad Geschwind to come up and Polly Hasty to come up. Bring the box.
I was going to say, bring some up here. We're going to need them.
So I'm going to go ahead and start with Brad. And Brad was the PE teacher at West Freshman. And Logan approached Brad Friday, second day of school, during PE class, stating he wasn't feeling well. Now, knowing some PE teachers, in my experience, sometimes you might just, tell the student, get a drink, you'll be fine, or you're okay, or whatever. But not in this case. And we are thankful that Brad took every precaution that he should do. Brad listened to Logan and sent him to the clinic with Polly, and instead of having him sit on the sidelines. And Polly, the school nurse at West Freshman, while Logan talked about having a headache, she paid attention to his actions, how he was behaving, and could tell something was off, and immediately got a hold of Mom and Dad. Polly noticed the symptoms and urged Dad at the time to get medical attention as soon as possible. And once at the hospital and got Brad checked out, they sent him to Children's Downtown, if I can say that. Logan, what did I say? That's Brad. Sorry, Logan. This is good. So, but once at the hospital, at the local hospital here in Liberty Township, they sent Logan down to Children's in Cincinnati and found a tumor on Logan's brainstem. So I'm going to let Mom and Dad kind of take it from here, if you can. You can.
He had two surgeries. The first one was an emergency surgery to get a temporary drain in because he had a lot of fluid filling his ventricles, and that's what was causing his horrible migraine. And if it weren't for Polly telling Paul that this isn't a normal headache, he's slurring his words, he dropped his books, and once we got him down actually to the Liberty Children's, they told us, whenever they told us what was going on, and I'll never forget, she goes, the doctor says, will you guys sit down? And I look at her and I'm like, you did not just tell me to sit down. It's like, so we had a 4-hour window to save his life, and she was his guardian angel.
What I'd just like to say again is thank you to Polly, and just if Polly wouldn't have done her job that day, Logan wouldn't be with us. So it's awesome that she sat there and paid attention to him. If she would have walked out of the room and left him and not have seen all the symptoms she told me, because she pulled me aside and said, this is not a normal migraine. So she saved his life.
Just an update on Logan. He received his permanent shunt on, I can't look at anyone, on Tuesday. He got to come home on Thursday. The tumor he has is inoperable, but it is treatable, and it's slow growing and non-aggressive, and it won't spread throughout his body. So he's at home. We're looking for aiming for September 10th to go back to school. There's a lot to digest. We're still digesting it. We go back for post-op this Friday, and we're just going to have a whole list of questions written down because we're still learning everything. But I'm telling you, the guardian angels were there, and Polly saved his life. She could have just said, you know, oh, it's second day of school. He wants to go home and take a nap. He's just tired because, you know, getting up at 5:45. But she listened to him and told us exactly what to do, and we rushed him right there. And he's with us. He's at home recovering. So we're very thankful.
We're so thankful for all that you did and appreciate what you do every day for all of our students. But this is certainly a special blessing to be able to say that you saved one of our students' lives. And again, so many of our nurses, with all they do to intervene every day, it's amazing. I don't think people realize all the interventions that happen every single day. So we're very grateful. So, would you come up and join us?
She didn't hear you.
Do you want to do a picture?
Board picture.
You want to do, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's do a board picture too, real quick, if you guys want to, you can just, just come out to the middle, we'll get a picture with the board too.
And before we get the picture, I just want everyone to know that Paul didn't have to listen to me. Paul could have taken him home. Paul could have said, she's full of crap, he's got a headache, I'm gonna take him home and I'm gonna let him rest. So Paul didn't have to listen to me. Paul, I mean, you listen, so thank you, because so many parents don't listen. So many parents see us as school nurses, and, you know, so I thank I obviously thank the lucky stars that you listened to me and took me seriously, so.
We appreciate you working on the first step, but that first step is critical as well.
We're expected to do this, we're expected to react this way, we're
Well,
expected
just
to
so you guys know what to
save
look
lives.
for, there we have to.
Time after time, patient after patient, it's one of the things that makes this job. So when it happens in this setting, I have to keep reminding myself that this is not a setting where you see these emergency critical kind of things, you know, and it's a humbling situation because. I know. Well, the thing, well, my thing was,
He is taking advantage of
wasn't
us
the same
not
kid
saying no.
within 10 to 15 minutes that we walked in.
So we leave here with, we have to go to Freddie's
There's
steak
something
burger.
more
He wants Freddie's
heading
steak
on.
burger.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I just have to say that had it been a different teacher, I wouldn't have seen him. He would have waited until class changed and it would have been a completely different outcome, so.
Skits is out, this Friday.
Not a problem.
So we have to, at least enjoy our pools, so we'll see. I appreciate you guys coming down, that was awesome.
It was nice to see all the support too for both Brad and Polly, and if you came just for that part, I'm giving you the okay that you can slightly exit. You're welcome to stay, but just trying to give you an out.
Adults have homework too.
Correct.
It's all good.
And Mr. Wesley, you at the top of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Now
God's
you
like,
have to follow
now you
that,
wish you'd have brought the cookies and punch. Just saying.
Did he forget?
With that, we'll move to administrative reports and an update on district technology. Mr. Wesley.
It is going to be tough to top that or compete with that. That is an amazingly powerful story. Good evening. It's good to be here. I'll do my best to give you something as powerful as the last presentation. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited to offer information on our new We Are Empowered initiative that'll be kicking off at our junior schools here in the fall, as well as expanding out to the rest of the district in the coming months, years, TBD. I do want to start by saying this is not a technology initiative. This is 100% a learning initiative. We are working collaboratively across the district, and I do want to thank the entire executive team, Krista Heidenreich and our curriculum instruction team, and our entire technology team, along with our building principals and our teachers. A lot of work is going into this, so we're very excited for it to all come together for our kids. I would like to please turn your attention to a brief video, probably about 6 minutes, to overview the initiative, and then I can open it up for questions and offer any additional information.
Lakota is excited to launch our new We Are Empowered initiative.
Makes me feel better that happens to him, too.
Lakota is excited to launch our new We Are Empowered initiative this fall at our junior high schools. This includes a pilot one-to-one program which issues each of our 7th and 8th grade students a Lakota-owned laptop, creating an expansive technology landscape in addition to expanded modern learning spaces and student resources, all designed to accelerate our digital transformation, support growing innovative instructional practices, and expanded student opportunities. The We Are Empowered Pilot One-to-One program has been designed to empower our students to own their learning through expanded access to quality instructional content, activities to increase collaboration and communication, guidance on digital organization, along with new learning opportunities both inside and outside the classroom and school day. At the center of this initiative is personalized student learning, supported and accelerated by technology. Modeling One Lakota, our entire district has truly come together to support this initiative in areas such as staff development, technology expansion, facilities transformation, cross-school planning, and most importantly, the student experience. Our technology teams have been working closely with our curriculum instruction experts in aligning the technology with the learning goals to ensure critical components are in place to support quality student learning from the start. While the technology is just a support of the learning, here's more on the We Are Empowered devices. After piloting a variety of choices, the We Are Empowered initiative is focusing on Chromebook laptops, which are the #1 laptops sold to U.S. K-12 schools. They feature Google operating systems with a large selection of education-based apps, built-in virus and malware protection, and will allow our students to access Lakota's digital instructional resources. Over 2,700 Chromebooks will be issued as part of the junior high pilot this September, empowering our learners to own their learning with expanded options for student voice, choice, and access to growing content that support their interests and learning outcomes. This program also empowers our learners by developing key student skills and responsibilities necessary to navigate the current digital transformation and help prepare for the highly skilled, technology-driven global world of tomorrow. All devices and applications will be provided, owned, and managed by Lakota, and the district will also cover and repair accidental damages and hardware failure. Each Chromebook is military spec certified and features spill-resistant keyboards, fast charging, advertised all school day battery life, antimicrobial touchscreens, the ability to convert from a laptop to a tablet, a stylus pen for writing directly on the screen, 2 cameras for HD video recording, and each Chromebook will be issued with an attached protective case, and we encourage students to personalize their case, but nothing can be placed on the laptop itself. Students can access Lakota's learning management and assessment systems, a district email account, productivity suites from Google and Microsoft, and all district-approved digital tools. To open up new avenues for students to creatively showcase their learning and express their interests, each Lakota Chromebook will also include digital tools for video, audio, drawing, and music creation. Each student will also be provided a specially designed online course with resources on the program vision, proper care, learning opportunities, and online safety, in addition to troubleshooting and the ability for students to offer feedback at any time to help shape the program. While Chromebooks are considered in high regard by security experts, content filtering is just as important to support a safe online environment for our students, while ensuring our students have access to the appropriate learning tools they need. All Lakota student-issued Chromebooks utilize next-generation cloud-based web filtering. This smart filtering is always on, regardless of the device, internet connection, or location, and is aligned with filtering in use at Lakota for years. It also utilizes artificial intelligence to more thoroughly analyze websites than traditional web link block solutions. In addition, YouTube is provided to ensure access to instructional videos, but age restrictions are applied. Furthermore, junior high students will receive expanded lessons on digital citizenship and online safety, which will be embedded into lessons throughout the year. Equity of access for our students is a primary focus. Our junior high principals are evaluating student needs and exploring school-based options. The district is providing a limited number of mobile hotspots that students can check out with parent approval, providing filtered internet. In addition, we have worked with Spectrum to advertise their high-speed internet discount program provided for National School Lunch participant families. We have also begun the We Are Connected business outreach program, allowing area businesses to advertise the availability of their Wi-Fi to our students by placing the We Are Connected logo in their window. Lakota will include these businesses in social media campaigns to highlight the partnerships. Our Lodi team is also reaching out to apartment complexes to work with ownership to establish Wi-Fi areas for students. Finally, we are exploring eventually adding Wi-Fi to targeted buses based on drive time and activities. Another part of the We Are Empowered initiative is the reimagining of our junior high media centers as innovation hubs. These new collaboration, technology, and learning spaces now offer students access to ever-evolving new technologies, which currently include virtual reality, video production, and 3D printing for concept design, along with hands-on learning activities. Leading our Innovation Hub evolution are our new innovation specialists who are designing and providing new learning opportunities, digital resources, and guidance to further empower our students and teachers. In addition, the innovation specialists are in the early stages of developing student-run technology support teams that will eventually further support our students as part of the initiative. These new hubs also serve as the We Are Empowered Technology Support Help Desk, offering instructional technology support as well as a central location for questions, repairs, loaner devices, and device charging and other support needs. We are excited for these new spaces to continue to evolve through student and staff voice and the latest in technology and learning innovations. So what's next? Once the We Are Empowered initiative is established at the junior high schools, it will move to our high schools, with students getting issued the same device for their entire high school career, and devices from graduating seniors will be used in other areas of the district. Once the initiative is fully built out, only 7th and 9th graders will receive new laptops annually. In addition, We Are Empowered devices from graduating 8th graders will move to our K-6 schools, creating a sustainable supply of devices to support at least a 2-to-1 ratio of students to devices for our younger students. All Lakota teachers will also be receiving a new laptop later this school year. District leadership will continue to gather stakeholder feedback and work together to evaluate the program and ensure the technology continues to align with the district's vision for personalized student learning. Like technology, the We Are Empowered initiative will continue to evolve, and while flexibility and adaptability will be key, student opportunities will be endless. For more information, or to offer feedback in addition to the over 1,000 respondents that have helped us shape this initiative, please visit www.lakotaonline.com/empowered.
Okay, so I understand there's a lot of information in that, but I would like to open it up for questions and offer any additional information that we can provide. Sure, definitely. Actually, this is being prepared to actually go on that website right there, so we'll send that out once it's up. We want to get it out to all the parents and community members as well.
So it'll be available on Lakota
On
Online?
Lakota Online, on that web link.
Perfect.
Yes.
Have we done any enhancement to the Wi-Fi in the buildings?
Yes, so all secondary Wi-Fis, particularly at the junior highs right now, have been expanded and planned out to align with what the need is and more.
Are we doing PD for the staff? on
Yes.
some of these?
So staff development has been covered. That started back late winter. I know our curriculum team, our curriculum teacher coaches started working with our teachers at all 4 junior schools in what they called the Blitz, where they all went in under the guidance of Krista Heidenreich and coordinated professional development for weeks on end at each building. In preparation for this, classes were offered over the summer by our curriculum instruction department. PD is taking place the week before the rollout as well, and then PD did take place at the beginning of the school year, and that will continue. We see this as an evolving initiative.
Will there be a staff person in each of the junior highs?
Yes.
Now going forward?
So by night, this is a boardroom, but by day, it's one of our innovation hubs. And so in each innovation hub, there will be an innovation specialist who runs point on the initiative and works collaboratively with an instructional coach that's assigned to the building as well, that works with all the principals under the guidance of the principal. Works with all the teachers under the guidance of the principal.
I might have missed this in the presentation, but do the students take the devices home over the summer, or do you do maintenance, repair?
Right. So that's something we're considering. I anticipate that happening, but it'll be part as we evaluate the product and the pilot.
Okay.
This past summer, we did some pilots with smaller groups to test out the product itself and to get the student feedback and the parent feedback. And we gave them to them mid-spring, and they kept them all summer, and it seemed to work very well.
I love the fact that your team and the district's considering all aspects of connectivity as well, partnering with local businesses, but also looking at families in the area that may not have access, and how do you provide that just to make sure it's well-rounded launch. That's phenomenal, so thank you.
Thank you. We see that as one of the underpinnings of the entire initiative to ensure that they have that connectivity and the availability to those resources.
That's great.
Todd, you made the district made the decision, and perhaps could explain it to our community, why we decided to start with 7th and 8th grade?
I think from our perspective, there were a lot of positives at that grade, at those grades, so we could jump in and align what was already happening, some of the new shifts that were happening in the new classes, in the new digital media and arts classes, and further support those with this technology, as well as some of the PBL training that already happened, and the direction shifts at those schools.
Maybe you could explain some of those acronyms that you just used too, so that our community
Yes,
understands
so
them.
PBL is project-based learning. I'd certainly defer to our curriculum instruction team to go deeper. And as far as the digital media courses, they're getting into digital media arts, video creation, a variety of digital creations. The class is new. I've seen a lot of positive out of the class already, a lot of positive comments on social media as well as students. But all of this will be coming together in the future months.
And maybe you could explain the timeline for when each grade is going to start receiving it?
Sure. So last week we began some dry run rehearsal type rollouts. Each of the junior highs picked a class, and we did a full rollout. So they've had them over the weekend to supplement the pilot students that have had some devices since the spring. And then we are rolling up to September 10th and 11th, where a few of us are going to the Future Ready Conference to further fuel this initiative. And then September 12th, we will begin the rollout with the 8th graders and work through 8th grade into 7th grade. And we anticipate that should only take a few days.
And then after this year?
That will be determined based on the evaluation of the pilot.
And one more question. You had talked about, in your notes, about not having a family purchase option. What was the thinking on that?
So from a funding standpoint, we've worked very closely with Ms. Logan and our Treasurer's Department. All the funds are earmarked out of our permanent improvement funds based on technology refresh line items that we started back after the last levy passed. The requirement of permanent improvement is a 5-year life cycle. So after those 4 years, we still anticipate, we have to have that life cycle in the district, but we anticipate life out of those devices that we can use in other parts of the district to serve our students and our staff. So if they get them freshman year, it'll only be 4 years. We'll have that extra year to be able to
So
support,
I
and
do
hopefully
understand
5
taking
and
it out of
6
the
years.
permanent improvement levy, but why no family option if a family wanted to do that?
We're required to have those devices for at least 5 years.
If we spend permanent improvement fund money
So we
on
can't
it,
meet the 5-year requirement if
right,
we
we
allow
would have to
families to
keep
do
them
it.
5 years. And then
It's a-
after that 5
It's a
years.
CapEx requirement.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Part of the funds use.
The only thing that I will say is job well done. I don't realize how much time you put into this, but it's clear that you went above and beyond, not just for the presentation, but all the work that you and your team has done has been a tremendous asset to the kids and staff at Lakota, and thank you for that. I can't tell you how many school districts I've seen or read about where they deploy one-to-one, and it is a nightmare because they give a device to a kid and think that's it. But you look at the work that went into and the questions that you're answering, it's beyond the device. It's why do we have the device to support student learning? You said that several times, and the forethought and the research that you did was, I've not seen a hole where I think you need to shore up at all. As we've talked before, it's an evolution. And so I think this is a great opportunity for our kids. I get excited when we had the kids in here talking about coding and the opportunities that brings. So to the question about taking them home over the summer, when we make that call, I'd have a hard time telling a student no who had an opportunity to utilize a tool in the summer months. I think it also brings about a future conversation about what I'll call the third semester in the summer and what opportunities kids have for personalized learning here at Lakota but beyond, and what that could look like. So those are things we've already bantered about, but I appreciate all the work that you did and all the time that you and your team did.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Just to dovetail on that, we did it with some of the pilot students over the summer. We had some report that they were learning how to play bass based on some internet resources that they were self-teaching themselves on how to learn bass, and then others taking online programs and things like that. So it's definitely opening up opportunities in the summer that we want to keep at the forefront.
And also some of the professional development, because a lot of these kids have grown up with these devices from the time they were toddlers, but some of our staff hasn't always had them in their lives in the same way.
Definitely.
So I think there's been a lot of focus from what I've seen as well on the professional development and how to integrate them into the classroom with all of our coaches, and I think that's been a major focus that I appreciate.
Definitely. If we were encouraging our staff to take their devices with them in the summer to professionally develop themselves, why wouldn't we with our students? But we certainly want to evaluate all options.
Could you talk just for a moment, one of you, about how the student's voice has been incorporated in this process? I think that's
Certainly.
really been unusual.
Certainly. So we started gathering, we started pilots back in the winter, and we started gathering student feedback. And we actually piloted a variety of different devices. A variety of teams met with all 3 big tech companies. We evaluated all of their solutions. We put different solutions out in the classrooms. We have different classes test things out, give us their feedback. And between that, as well as once we started rolling this out in pilot form last spring, we've received over 1,147 responses, about 70% of which has been from students. So they are really helping us drive this, and we anticipate that continuing with the innovations hubs as well as the program. Moving forward, we can, I kind of use this analogy when we talk about the innovation hubs. We as adults can sit here all day and say, well, they're going to want this, they're going to want this, they're going to want this. It means nothing until the students walk in the door. And so getting that feedback is critical, and it's going to continue to be critical as we shape the program.
Any other feedback or questions for Todd? Appreciate your feedback and
Thanks so much.
everything you've done. Thank you.
We'll send that to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. All right, this is our first opportunity for public comment. If anyone would like to approach the mic, they may do so at this time. Seeing no one, we'll go into board reports. We have board policy.
We have the second reading tonight of the board policies from the last board meeting that will be coming up. Other than that, we haven't any other discussion.
All right, community engagement, Kelly?
We have one community conversation scheduled this week, the 30th. Thursday with combined high school staff at here? Here. I would have gone to East Community Room. Don't ask me why.
We also have a community engagement team meeting on Friday, so if there are any community engagement meetings that you would like to suggest, please give Kelly and I that feedback, and we can bring that forward on our meeting on Friday. Butler Tech?
Butler Tech, excuse me, Butler Tech met on Tuesday.
Wow.
Right, that worked. Butler Tech met on Tuesday, and I ran from a meeting that the three of us were attending over to Butler Tech and got there in time for evaluations of both the superintendent and treasurer. September 22nd is going to be the grand opening of the Swordsville campus. Okay, that's good. September 22nd will be the grand opening of the Swordsville campus. That's being planned by all of our area chambers, including the Westchester Liberty Chamber, and hope that you're all able to attend that and come out and see the new campus where the adult education hub is going to basically be moved to. That's all I've got.
Is that different, Linda, than the September 5th thing we just got an invitation to?
September 5th is going to be the ribbon cutting
Okay.
for the new facility, but there'll be a grand opening at calling it the Future Fair
Okay.
on the 22nd, so it's two different events.
Okay.
Certainly. I'll move right to legislative. Jenny and Matt, would you like to start off on that?
You want to go first?
No, go ahead.
I think my biggest piece for the legislative piece is imagine starting your senior year in high school and you don't know what the final graduation requirements are, and that's what's happening right now. So there is a working group in Columbus trying to put something together, which I think is borderline education malpractice in terms of what our kids should be focusing on, what our parents should be focusing on in their senior year. Just a little passionate about that. This is stuff that I think should have been vetted and put out months, if not years ago, for the sake of our kids. But that being said, there are discussions about what the graduation requirements should be, what they're going to be, but also combining that with real-world experiences, which is something we're working on in the district, and giving credit for those real-world experiences in a graduation setting. And so that's sort of the, what are we going to do about this type conversation happening in Columbus right now. So I like that part. I just wish that our kids that are in school now knew what the requirements were for graduation. That's all. That's enough.
Last week, the three education organizations, OSBA, Ohio School Boards Association, VASA, which represents superintendents, and OASBO, which represents school business officials, leaders from those three organizations met with both campaigns for governor. Monday was the Democrats, and Friday was the Republicans. At both meetings, the organization shared something they're calling a white paper, which I will share with all of you. It's basically based on the legislative platforms from all three organizations, what they would like to suggest from the next governor. So it's a pretty thick document. There's been lots of conversation about this document, and I will send it out to each of you. Then on Thursday of this week, I will be meeting with the state funding work group that I have been a part of to develop what they're calling a blueprint that we're going to share with both campaigns. So right now, I think everybody's trying to get the ear of those who are running for governor to try to make sure that, you know, what we feel should be a priority is a priority. And it covers not only school funding, but some of the issues Matt has been raising too, as well as local control and all of those things. So that's about it for me.
Do you have something else, Matt?
Just tied to that, to what Jenny said, we know this year we're going to have a new governor, so it's not like in the past where there was an incumbent. So I think it's a lot of the unknown on both sides of the aisle, so that's going to be different as we navigate that. That's all.
And I think we can expect what we're hearing at the State House as well is that there'll be a lot of lame duck legislation, and it will be fast and furious when that happens. So we will continue to build up and set some legislative visits for this fall so that we are a proactive voice talking about what our concerns are. And I also, at the beginning of the month, attended the OSBA, the state legislative platform meeting with the, working on not a lot of major revisions, but some revisions to the platform that will be introduced at the Capitol Conference in November. Did we have anything other?
The other thing I would be remiss if I did not mention, thanks to Charlotte McGuire, who is our rep for State School Board, for her visit on her first day of school, and also State Superintendent Paula DiMaria for coming that afternoon as well. And they've both certainly fall under the legislative piece. So both were very impressed and have sent follow-ups back through me and through the team about different things that they want to know more about. So we're glad that they decided to come to Lakota that day.
And Mrs. McGuire and I are also looking for a time that we can set up to meet as well. So I'll get in touch with you, Brad, and see if you'd like to join us for that. I think that's it. Anything else? Okay. Thanks.
They fixed some things in back, so you might be safe. All right, Diversity Committee.
I do want to mention to the board and give you an opportunity that our Lodi group is having a retreat off-site at Houston Woods on Thursday, September 6th. I'm going to kick things off in the morning, and I'll send you that agenda. So if your schedule fits and you can make it out there, I think it would be good for you to see the work that they've been doing and what they're building on that day. One of the things that I've charged the group with that day when I'm with them is to build the district's diversity statement, and as, not as a final product, but at least as what is our working definition of what diversity should look like in Lakota.
All right. With that, we move to Treasurer's recommendations. Do I have a motion for approval of Treasurer's recommendations A and B?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Anybody? Any discussion? We have board meeting minutes and the July 2018 financials. No? Hearing none? Jenny, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Casper?
Yes.
Mr. Parnell?
Yes.
Mr. Lovell?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Connor?
As I was absent for the August 13th meeting, I will abstain.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Yes.
Thank you.
Superintendent's recommendations, items A through D. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
God, they're the only ones working here.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Jenny, please call the roll.
Mrs. Casper?
Yes.
Mr. Parnell?
Yes.
Mr. Lovell?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Yes. This is our second opportunity for public comment. If anyone would like to address the board, they may do so at this time.
Hi, I'm David Korfman, and I've just a couple comments. Todd Wesley was given that great presentation, and he made this side comment of those Chromebooks are military ruggedness, and let's see how the junior high students stack up against that. I do applaud Chromebooks. I'm in IT. I'm IT manager, and in my house, I'm IT manager there. We've got a couple Chromebooks. No problems, no issues, no support from me, because it always comes back to me. I'm delighted. I don't have to do anything. I think you'll find the same thing with the Chromebooks here. I sure hope so. The other issue is a couple minor things with with flag etiquette. I came in late, and the flag is half-staff. Okay, you know, that could be taken care of quickly, and I wouldn't have said anything. But the second violation is the flag's right behind you, Mrs. Schaefer. Did I already miss that too? They're switched, and they should be switched.
We'll get that
It's
fixed.
in my closing comments, but
Yes.
thank you.
Oh, I
No, I totally
preempted
agree.
you too quickly. So that's that. General, I go up and switch them myself at times. And so we just need to set the example, and I thank you.
Yep, thank you.
So noted.
All right. Anyone else would like to address the board at this time? I appreciate the feedback and duly noted. All right. With that, we will move to closing comments. And I will start with Matt.
Your turn.
Okay. Thank you. Just real quick, what a great night to hear the presentation on from Mr. Wesley, but really what a great night to acknowledge some of our awesome staff members, and what a really good outcome under terrible circumstances. So applaud our staff once again. We have to remember that we are in a people business, and that certainly bore itself out in the past couple of days.
It's always nice to celebrate our staff. And I will say that I've been around a lot of staff recognitions. I can't think of one that was more, life-altering. I mean, honestly, to be able to recognize staff members for saving a child's life, I mean, I'm in awe with that. But, it just speaks to the employees that we have here at Lakota, and to every day, every minute, to do the right thing. And so that was just an example of the great people that we know work for the district. And Mr. Wesley and his team, kudos. They have been hard at work, and I know it's a team approach and curriculum and instruction, and you all have been working really closely together, but kudos on job well done. And there's more and more to come. We know that as Matt smiles, so that's it.
Real quick, just to underscore something that Mrs. Logan said, I think what we saw happen with Logan too also underscores the importance of nurses in buildings too, and you can't put a dollar figure on that. And I know you all agree with that.
Sure? Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. A complete agreement with Matt and Ginny in recognition of our staff. And I think the thing that was resonating in my mind as I was listening to the parents talk was each and every day our parents are entrusting us with their students, with their safety and security of those students. And I value the quality of our staff, the value of our professional development, and the quick thinking and resourcefulness that they demonstrated, and that I think they demonstrate every day in so many ways. So I'm very thankful for that. So thank you, Mr. Korfman, for broaching that. It was top of my list, and I have to say it really does bother me when we don't get that right, because we're setting the example for our students, and it seems like we've had the issue a few times since being here. So I want you all to understand that when I come in, I'm checking the flag and I'm moving it, okay? Just going to move it. Or may enlist Brad to help me move it, but we need to get that right.
We should have caught it. We've moved it before, and we should have caught it. So
it's bothersome.
It's on us, and it won't happen again.
Okay. That's good, because maybe I'll make you move it instead.
Yes.
But anyway, I just really would like us to get that right.
Great. I just want to celebrate a couple things. One, the number 16,583. That is incredible. And I was actually sitting here thinking and listening to the Empowered presentation and the staff spotlights and everything that was going on, and just taking a step back and realizing that we are 418 students additionally in this district this year, and that's huge. People are choosing to come back to Lakota. The all-day kindergarten has been an opportunity for people to say that they want to come to Lakota and maybe not go to private school or choose other opportunities. That's something to celebrate. But in the midst of all of that, with the increase in number of kids that we're seeing coming through our doors, we're launching a one-on-one pilot. We're offering all-day kindergarten. We realigned our buildings, which, by the way, I've had an opportunity to go into our early childhood buildings, and my daughter's at Hopewell, and incredible, incredible things, smooth transitions, 16,583 kids, and we're heading into the second week of school. And unless Matt is keeping major things from us, I think that we have a ton to celebrate. And so I just want to send another kudos, which I know we do all the time, but to every single human being that works for the district, all the way down and up the ranks and whatever you may have, every person that has a touch in our buildings every single day, because 16,583 kids, that's incredible. So thank you.
What he said. No, seriously, it from the student spotlight to the staff spotlight to Todd's presentation, we've come a long way in a short period of time, and I think still a long way to go, but we're heading in the right direction in a hurry. You mentioned the transition. My son was one that had to leave his school for his 6th grade year and go to a new school. It's been perfect. He actually likes school, which that's never happened before. So, no, it makes me proud to be part of the Lakota board. Thanks.
Well, everybody has said everything. No, again, just echo everybody's sentiments about, I mean, the staff spotlight for me that was so interesting was that any one of those pieces that could have gone wrong. The gym teacher could have told him to sit in the sideline and not gone to the nurse. The nurse could have told the dad, like she said, the dad could have been like, oh, you know, what did she do? It's a headache. So the fact that everything aligned was what I feel like really amazing. And I just wanted to comment on the first day of school in the first couple days. It was so fun to go into buildings. I got 14 buildings. I'm no Matt Miller, but I'm working on it. But it was really fun to go in and see the enthusiasm from the staff and the excitement from the kids. And I was very impressed, even though it rained in and out of all the buildings. But other than that, it was, so I agree with everybody. We have great things going on here.
Ditto. It was a great start. Great. I'm glad to be here and glad to be off to a great start. So thank you to everyone for their contribution to that. And with that, I'll take a motion to enter into executive session to consider the appointment, I can't speak, consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. Thank
Jenny,
you.
will you please call the roll?
Mrs. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mrs. Casper?
Yes.
Mr. Lovell?
Yes.
Mr. Parnell?
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Yes.
Are we staying up here?
And we will be taking no action after we come out of executive session. Thank you.